God bless the United States of America.
The United States of America stands as the global superpower of our time, unmatched in military strength and economic influence. However, as we delve into interpretations of biblical beliefs concerning the end of the world, there is growing concern about America. According to these interpretations, a prophecy predicting the eventual decline of America seems to be coming to the forefront, as a series of unsettling events raise questions about the nation's future. But what exactly does this prophecy entail? Is it truly a forewarning of America's decline? And if so, are we witnessing the beginning of its fulfillment? Join us as we unravel how the prophecy for America that everyone fears will come to pass is already beginning. The signs of the impending end times. In recent years, many people have begun to fear that we might be nearing the end times, especially as unsettling events continue to unfold in the United States. This growing anxiety is not just confined to the religious. It has also sparked concern among those who are less inclined to believe in biblical prophecy. Everyone seems to be wondering what the future holds for the world as we know it. Could the answers to these pressing questions be found in ancient scriptures? The Bible, particularly in the book of Acts 2, verses 19 to 20, speaks of signs and wonders in the heavens and on earth that will precede the great and glorious day of the Lord. These verses mention the sun turning to darkness and the moon turning to blood, imagery that has often been associated with significant cosmic or natural events. While these scriptures are open to various interpretations, they suggest that natural phenomena, like the rising and setting of the sun, might hold deeper meanings related to the times and seasons we are living through. For example, recent events such as the skies over San Francisco and the US West Coast turning an eerie red have caught the attention of many. This phenomenon, caused by smoke from massive wildfires, blocked out the sunlight, creating what some described as an apocalyptic atmosphere. For those who view these events through the lens of biblical prophecy, this was not just a natural disaster, but a potential sign of something far more significant, perhaps even a warning of what's to come. When considering the second coming of Jesus and the end of the world, the Bible often draws parallels to the days of Noah. In Matthew 24, Jesus likens the end times to those days, when people were living their lives unaware of the impending flood that would change everything. This comparison serves as a warning that many may be caught off guard by the events leading up to the end, just as they were in Noah's time. Despite the signs around them, people might continue with their daily lives, unaware of the looming disaster. This is why many religious leaders emphasize the importance of being vigilant and prepared, urging believers to watch and pray as advised in the scriptures. The Bible, particularly in Matthew 24, verses 6 to 8, also speaks of wars, rumors of wars, and conflicts between nations, alongside famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. These events are described as part of what must come to pass before the end, serving as warnings to those who are paying attention. These scriptures have become central to discussions about what to expect in the coming days, offering insight into the challenges that lie ahead. As the world becomes increasingly turbulent, with rising conflicts, natural disasters, and economic hardships, an ancient prophecy seems to be unfolding before our eyes, particularly in the United States. This prophecy, which has been a topic of debate among both believers and skeptics, is now drawing attention as its signs become more apparent. But why is America, a country that has long been considered a global superpower, at the center of this prophecy? How America rose to prominence. To understand the significance of what is happening in America today, it's important to look at how the country rose to its current position of power. The ascent of the United States began notably during World War II, a period that played a crucial role in establishing the nation as a global superpower. The use of nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki not only ended the war, but also demonstrated America's immense technological and military capabilities. This, in turn, secured its leadership role on the world stage. Since World War II, the United States has maintained its position as a global leader, influencing international policies and ensuring a balance of power among nations. its military and economic strength have been acknowledged by countries worldwide, including other major powers such as Germany, Japan, and Russia. However, with this great power comes great responsibility, and the question now is whether the recent events unfolding in America could be signaling a shift in its global role. A shift that might align with the ancient prophecies that many have feared would one day come to pass. The changes taking place in the United States have not gone unnoticed. Many observers, both within the country and abroad, are beginning to question whether America's political system is as robust as it once was. There's growing debate over whether the US Constitution needs to be revised to better address the challenges of the modern era. Meanwhile, the country's slow but steady decline in international standing is becoming increasingly apparent. While this decline is gradual, it is undeniably real, leaving the world to watch with a mix of concern and disbelief. One of the most visible signs of this decline is the intense economic pressure the United States is currently facing. The country is grappling with massive international debts and a range of domestic issues, including inflation. These economic troubles have eroded the respect that America once commanded on the global stage, leading some to perceive the nation as weaker and more vulnerable than before. This perceived weakness has emboldened rival nations, which have become more assertive in challenging US dominance. As the world watches these developments unfold, attention is increasingly turning to the United States, particularly as significant and potentially prophetic events take place within its borders. Among the most notable of these events is the upcoming presidential election, which is being closely monitored not just by Americans, but by international powers such as Russia, China, and nations in the Middle East. The outcome of this election could have far-reaching implications for global politics, but it is only one piece of a much larger puzzle: the prophecy behind the shocking events in America. In a shocking turn of events, on July 13th, an assassination attempt was made on former President Donald Trump, who is currently a leading candidate in the upcoming election. The attempt, which took place in Butler, Pennsylvania, involved a man named Thomas Matthew, who opened fire on Trump with an AR-style rifle. The chaos that ensued after the gunman was exterminated by a Secret Service sniper has led to widespread speculation about the motives behind the attack and its possible significance in the broader context of American and global events. As if the political landscape in the United States wasn't already fraught with tension, another major development occurred when President Joe Biden announced that he would not be seeking re-election. This decision has effectively positioned Donald Trump as the strongest candidate for the presidency, further intensifying the uncertainty surrounding America's future. These turbulent times have led many to question what lies ahead for the United States. For those who study biblical prophecy and eschatology, recent events seem to align with predictions of America's decline, sparking alarm within religious communities. While skeptics may dismiss these concerns, the possibility that ancient prophecies might be unfolding before our eyes cannot be entirely ruled out. According to some interpretations of eschatological prophecy, America is destined to fall in the last days. This is a challenging concept for many to accept, but it is one that deserves careful consideration, particularly in light of the current global situation. The prophecies found in the Bible, particularly in the books of Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation, offer insights into the events that will characterize the end times. These prophecies are of great importance, not just to believers, but to the world at large. In the book of Daniel, particularly in Daniel 7, there is a reference to the last week of Daniel, a period believed to represent the final days of the world, during which the Antichrist will reign on earth. The prophecy suggests that specific signs will emerge, indicating the approach of the end. For those who believe in these prophecies, the recent developments in America could be seen as signs that the world is moving closer to this climactic period. Why America may fall before the final days. If you've been keeping up with the news, you've likely noticed that the world seems to be in a state of upheaval. There are reports of wars, rumors of conflicts, natural disasters like famines and earthquakes, and, more recently, troubling news about the possible collapse of the US dollar. These events have led many to speculate that the United States, long regarded as a global superpower, may be on the brink of a significant decline, which could drastically alter its influence on the world stage. particularly in the context of end-time events. But why do some biblical scholars believe that the United States is destined to fall in the last days? The answer to this question is rooted in the study of biblical prophecy, specifically in the books of Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation. These texts, which contain detailed accounts of the end times, notably do not mention the United States. Instead, they highlight the roles of other nations, such as Russia and Turkey, suggesting that these countries will play significant parts in the events leading up to the end. Another key reason some believe the United States might lose its influence is tied to the prophecy of the Antichrist and the establishment of a one-world currency system, often associated with the number 666. For such a global financial system to emerge, it is argued the current monetary dominance of the US dollar would need to collapse. The fall of the dollar, many believe, could only happen if the United States itself falls from its position as a global superpower. This idea is further supported by the prophecies in the book of Daniel, which speak of a time when 10 nations will rise to global prominence, eventually ceding their power to the Antichrist. This prophecy, found in Daniel 7 and Revelation 17:12, has led to speculation that the United States may no longer be a key player by the time these events occur. The gradual decline of US power that we are witnessing today could be the beginning of the fulfillment of this prophecy. The series of crises facing America, including economic challenges and political instability, have led many to wonder if the nation is indeed on a path toward a diminished role in global affairs. This decline may pave the way for the rise of other powers, potentially leading to the fulfillment of the prophecies concerning the Antichrist and the end times. According to the prophecy in Daniel, a powerful kingdom, described as the fourth beast, will emerge in the last days. This beast is said to be unlike any other, terrifying and incredibly strong, with iron teeth that devour its enemies. The imagery used in this prophecy is often associated with the Roman Empire, known for its strength, organization, and cruelty. However, the prophecy also describes a small horn representing the Antichrist that will rise to power and deceive many, leading them away from God. This figure is seen as a major force of destruction in the end times, with only Christ being able to defeat him. The idea that the prophecy of the fourth beast has not yet been fully realized has led many to believe that its fulfillment is still to come, possibly in our time. This belief suggests that the prophecy of the 10 horns and the little horn will be fulfilled by future world powers, with the United States not being among them. Given that the US does not fall within the geographical area of the 10 nations mentioned in the prophecy, it is likely that its influence will be minimal in the last days. This potential fall from power could shift the focus to the Middle East, where much of the end-time chaos is expected to unfold. One of the key reasons why the United States might fall in the last days, according to eschatological interpretation, is rooted in the belief that everything must end where it all began, the Middle East. Throughout the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, the Middle East is the backdrop for many prophetic events. As tensions in this region continue to escalate, with recent conflicts and strikes, it becomes increasingly clear that this area remains central to the unfolding of biblical prophecy. Recently, news from the Middle East has reported on a significant event involving the Israeli Defense Forces, who took responsibility for a strike that resulted in the death of a Hamas commander in Lebanon. This incident is especially noteworthy as it could complicate ongoing efforts to establish a ceasefire in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. The Middle East has long been a region of intense geopolitical and spiritual significance, with many important events in history taking place there. Given its historical importance, it's unsurprising that many believe the region will play a crucial role in the events described in biblical prophecies. The possible revival of the United States. The United States was established with a strong foundation in Christian values, and for many years, biblical principles were deeply woven into the fabric of American society. The Bible was taught in schools, and religious influence was evident even in the White House. However, over time, there has been a noticeable shift. The United States today is not the same nation it was at its founding. Many of the biblical principles that once guided the country have been sidelined, and there has been a rise in what some describe as moral and spiritual corruption. This internal shift has led some biblical scholars to draw parallels between the United States and other nations in the Bible, that experienced downfall due to their rejection of God's ways. For example, the story of King Belshazzar, who desecrated sacred vessels and lost his life the same night, is often cited as a warning. Similarly, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, cities known for their wickedness, is another example of divine judgment. The question then arises, how close is the United States to experiencing a fall, and is there anything that can be done to prevent it? To understand this, it is essential to consider God's character and how he deals with nations. The Bible provides examples of God's mercy, such as the story of Nineveh in the book of Jonah. The people of Nineveh were warned of their impending destruction, but they repented and turned to God. As a result, God spared them from the disaster that had been planned. However, when they later returned to their sinful ways, they faced destruction. Drawing from this, it is possible that the United States could be preserved from a similar fate if there is a collective return to God and his principles. This is why many are urged to pray for the nation, especially as it approaches critical moments such as upcoming elections. The future of the United States, according to some, may hinge on its willingness to seek God's guidance and align with his will. In light of these, the prophecy about America should not be a source of fear, but rather a call to revival and prayer for Christians. Or do you think the whole prophesying is a sham? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe to the channel, and check out another of our videos for more interesting insights.